Welcome back to Absolutely. My name is Benny, that is Dan, and that is Kevin. And today we're going to be doing an anime review with our new Anime Weekly podcast. And if you want to see this show continue and any other stuff going on here at Absolutely, make sure to sign up for our YouTube memberships, check out our sponsors, G Fuel, and go check out Into the AM to get yourself some shirts. Now, today we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Superhero, which is still weird to say it that way, but that's the actual name of it. Doing this review, we're going to assume you've already seen the movie or you don't care about seeing the movie because we're not going to go beat by beat, but we're going to talk about what we enjoyed, what we hated, and what we want to see with this series continuing, because it's always going to continue. So, let's kick this off with Dan. What is your overall opinion of Dragon Ball Superhero?
Overall, I really enjoyed it, but my problem with it was because it's a movie, you knew exactly where it was going. Okay. Besides that, I loved it. I thought it was really cool. We had a lot of good fight scenes, a lot of good power-ups, which are like my favorite parts of Dragon Ball.
It's just one thing I want to do in real life. I want to transform in real life.
Right? I'm going to just yell for an entire day and just hope for the best.
Just in the bathroom yelling, what's going on? Oh, he's just powering up in there.
Powering up, constipated, same thing. What did you think about it, Kevin? The movie, as our biggest anime fan here, bigger than Dan ever could be.
It followed a lot of the formula of all of the movies. Like, one of the things, it was just like, it brings a lot of the other characters in and they help fight this creature or monster or whatever it is. Think of like the crazy Broly movies, or like Lord Slug, for example. Like Lord Slug was almost like a Lord Slug movie in a way. Like it felt like that, but it I don't know. I think compared to some of the other ones, I think it was really good. Like it had more substance than like the Broly movie, I guess.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the Broly movie a while ago, but wasn't that mostly just they go to the planet and fight Broly?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the whole movie.
It was like them pseudo retconning Broly and making him like canon, basically.
Yeah.
Or anime canon or whatever. Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. I don't know. I could go into details. We can go into details about it.
And we will. Yeah. I just like to open these with our overall first impressions.
I think it was pretty good in comparison. Like, too much nostalgia from Dragon Ball lately, but that's a whole nother issue. So they just try and use nostalgia. That's it.
I enjoyed the movie. I'd say just early on complaints because I brought my wife who doesn't follow standard Dragon Ball outside of just knowing the memes and stuff like that. I do feel like they spent a lot of time catching you up when it wasn't needed. And like that's my biggest issue. But beyond that, I overall enjoyed it. The animation kind of threw me off at first because they're doing that 3D. But like within like 5-10 minutes, I was like, okay, I kind of get it. The only thing that throughout the entire movie that threw me off entirely was when Goku first showed up. There were so many deep black lines in the CG, and it was just it just was weird. Outside of that, everything worked once I got used to it. But at first, it definitely looked weird. It was like,
animation, exactly.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Yeah, I have some thoughts about that.
Okay, well, let's go with that first, because animation could be the first thing people see with this. What do you think about it?
Yeah, so, I don't know. I compared it to, like, the Guts stuff from Berserk, you know, like, when they did the 3D version of that. But realistically, I feel like take away the people. Like you said with Goku, I feel like there's some awkward, poses and stuff still. A little bit of animation tweaks they need to do. It's not completely... I don't feel like it's a real person, right? I don't feel like they're really, but they're getting close. I feel outside of that, I feel like the animation style for this is amazing for landscapes, for special effects, explosions, especially. Like, I don't know if it's because I edit videos all the time and I just sit there and I notice this stuff, but like some of that stuff look really photorealistic, like the dust when these explosions happen. Like this is... The 3D allows for like almost photorealistic explosions and dust and stuff like that. And I think that is really good. I think that was really, really nice. But I feel like if they're going to continue with this, I think the best solution would be to find a way to smooth in digitally drawn characters and push them into that 3D set. I think it might be hard. It might be completely impossible because it's used a 3D render program. But man, they're almost there. I see what they're trying to do. It's kind of like the game. It's almost like the games. It's almost like you're sitting there watching a game cutscene, the whole movie. They're almost there, but like, it's not the best. It's a little off-putting, like you said. But if they continue on the path, like, the landscapes and the special effects were just so good. I was kind of impressed, just like some of the stuff they did and how real and how good some of it looked.
I agree with that too, because like as much as once I got used to it, I didn't notice it as much anymore, and it really made the explosions, the transformations, towards the end, one of the final transformations.
Rain scene.
The rain looked really good.
That was really good.
There was a lot of stuff that it did it kind of enhance. And one that I noticed that I don't think would have been done without a lot of labor hand-drawn was the color sequence. When they're going into like the ultimate final stuff, they're like spinning out colors and we got all kinds of stuff happening. It really just shows how insane everything's getting. And I feel like if that was hand-drawn, that would have been like 400 hours, grueling, rotational. Like I don't think it could have been done without the CG. So
right,
I did like that. I liked a lot of the stuff it brought. It just took me it took me out at first, and I had to get used to. Okay, it doesn't look like the Dragon Ball I'm used to. What did you think, Dan?
So I am not a big fan of the 3D anime. Like a lot of the time, if I start watching a show and it's that style, I won't watch it. I usually cannot get past it. I thought this one had kind of a good middle ground because you could tell that it was 3D. I mean, you could tell, but it also had this vibe to it that was almost like 2.5D, where it felt like Dragon Ball, and there were times that you see the 3D, but it still felt like Dragon Ball. Like you still got that feeling of watching the show, and it was only really when like characters do like a big turn or something that you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a 3D model. But I thought it was a really good hybrid of that to really give it the vibe of Dragon Ball. You don't really make it a true, oh, well, this isn't even the same thing at all. And so I thought that was actually really well done. And a lot of scenes looked great. I think once they tweak it, like Kevin said, once they tweak it, really find the groove, I think they'll do a great job of making it look like it's hand-drawn, but still be made like in the 3D engine to make it easier for the animators.
Right.
So.
Okay. The plot itself, you brought this up earlier, Kevin. This isn't the first movie to do it. It's not the first time they're trying to bring more of a focus onto the other characters. It pretty much doesn't involve Goku and Vegeta. As a matter of fact, I thought they weren't going to be in it at all, but they at least kind of get like a
They gotta sneak them in.
Yeah, they gotta sneak them in. They're on they're on Beerus. We're gonna have Vegeta and Goku fight. They're gonna do their own thing, but we're not really gonna focus on it. You know, and I loved all the comments towards Broly. And like once again, that's one of the things where I was like, why are we referencing so much in the past when this is a movie? If this was the ongoing series, that would make more sense to me. But like Beerus, what is Broly doing here? That crazy guy, you know, like.
Yeah, I think they're getting us most. So for people that haven't read the manga, they're kind of getting people more ready for him because he's going to come back later on.
Okay, yeah, so I got to get caught up in the manga. That and My Hero, I'm trying to get manga ahead again. So and Spy Family. But
I thought.
What did you think about What did you think about the focus on it? I'll start with you this time, Dan. What did you think about the focus on Gohan, Pan, Piccolo? Because Goten and Trunks were also sidelined this movie.
Yeah, so I do want to mention on the Goku Vegeta, because I thought it was good that they really are like, hey, fans, we know that you're going to want to see something of Goku and Vegeta. Here's a small little bit to both show you that and explain why they aren't a part of the situation on Earth. I like that. As for it being about these other characters, I did like the Goten Trunks thing. It did get old very fast. I'll be honest, like it did reach that point where I'm like, okay, I know they're doing literally the exact same thing they did 3 seconds ago. So that part...
I did find it funny that they failed the fusion and like that's their... we're here. Oh no.
And they just go with it. Yeah, that was
I had to remember the rules of fusion for that. I'm like, oh right, they're stuck for an hour. Like,
yep. I completely forgot about that part as well, because I was like, why don't you just break apart and redo it?
Yeah.
I am glad that they messed that up though, so that you don't have a moment of, well, they're super strong too. Why aren't they a part? No, that puts them on the sideline. I liked the orange Piccolo, especially because he's like, I don't know, name me Orange Piccolo. I mean, that's like it's the classic. Piccolo is very stiff and not super original, so it was like a nice little thing there. My main problem with like the plot with Gohan, I'm not sure if this is the time to say it, but
no, I told you we're talking openly.
Yeah, I wish there was more training. Like I understand Gohan is like has the potential, it is there and stuff like that. And I do get like emotions are really what drive the Saiyans to reach those next levels. I just wish there was a little more Gohan training than just, oh, he put the weighted shoulder pads on while he's sitting in his office. And now all of a sudden we went from, hey, Gohan is not really at his potential to, hey, we pissed him off, so now he's the most powerful. Like, it just kind of was
he made
a
that
little
comment.
off
He made a comment with that. He said that he said, oh, you thought I stopped training. Like, so to imply he never stopped. He's been doing
While true, it would have been nice to maybe go, hey, here's a flashback showing him training.
Yeah.
I like one of the things I do enjoy with Dragon Ball is the training. Like it really kind of gives more impact to those moments when they really do power up, because it's kind of like showing, hey, we got so strong that we full on went to the next level. And so, and that's kind of a personal thing. But I also like the way that it was paced. You knew you were close to the end of the movie, so you were like, well, I know this is going to wrap up super quick here. Like that was my only problem with what I was saying earlier with like, it's a movie, it's predictable, was, okay, I'm not going to get as much fight as you would in a show where you're like, okay, are they going to yell for the next 3 episodes? Like, oh, is this going to hype up? Like, because I think it was Kevin saying that or one of you was saying that they might break this up into episodes for the show, which they do tend to do. And I think that this movie will be really good in show form with more breaks, really building the anticipation between different scenes. But yeah, I liked the focus on Gohan and Piccolo. I like that we got some Pan stuff. Like
Pan was cute. I liked Pan.
Pan was really good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed those moments. And
my favorite scene with that was Piccolo trying to threaten her, and he's holding her with one hand and pretending to hold her by the throat.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kevin, about the focus shifting over to Gohan and them?
Well, one of my biggest problems with the series is they try and lean into too much in the nostalgia factor. Dan mentioned the thing with the fusion.
Yeah.
That itself is leaning on a joke now. Basically, they've become the joke character. And,
well, yeah, because they always mess with the fusion normally, don't they? Ever since they got it right one time, like they
so
can't
far,
do it again.
the only cool Trunks is the future Trunks. He's the only one that matters. But
I think Super realized that because they brought him back for the Goku Black arc. Like, right, that's the one you guys like.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think the Gohan and Piccolo thing was good. It's a good father and son movie. You know, that's really what it comes down to. I like there's a lot of things that are like steeped in this movie that you need to know the series. If you don't know the series, you just won't understand half of the stuff. Like the picture of Goku and then everyone else, Gohan, his whole entire family, but they're next to each other, but they're not in the same picture. You know, they've never gotten a picture together because Goku never stays still long enough. But like, and then the joke is,
I didn't think about it like that. I just figured it was,
So there's stuff like that in the movie that are really deep, but that you really have to, they put in there for you. But the problem is they lean into nostalgia so much that I have an issue with it. But okay, let's talk about that because I could talk.
Yeah, I was
about
like,
that
what other
issue
nostalgia stuff is there? Because I'm wondering.
There's
what
a
I
lot.
missed.
There's a lot of small stuff in the movie. I mean, just the whole Piccolo and Gohan thing is nostalgia within itself.
Yeah.
Because it's just, you know, this whole training thing. Piccolo getting mad about Gohan. He's trained. This takes place later on after the Tournament of Power. So he's already retrained once in the series.
Chat brought that up. I forgot that during the Tournament of Power, he was training as a backup.
He retrained once, so it's kind of
true.
getting overplayed. It's kind of getting old. I'm tired of the, you didn't train. All right, let's go train. They train. Oh, you didn't train again. 4 years later. It's like, okay, we get it. Piccolo wants him to train.
But Piccolo considers not training for one day a fault. Like,
yeah, it's just like, it's just overplayed, right? Like, it's just,
I see what you mean.
I'll take it this one final time, but quit doing it. That's
Well,
how
at
I
this
feel
point, in
about it.
theory, we shouldn't, because Gohan's proved he has maintained well enough to be able to go. I think I looked it up. They actually, it's funny, I didn't realize this, but Ultra Instinct is called Ultra Ego for Vegeta, and then like Beast Mode for Gohan.
Yeah,
It's
Ultra
not-
mode. Okay.
Ultra Ego is apparently a different thing. It's like Vegeta going back to his villainous roots. People want that. People like that. So he's not evil. He's just more gritty like he used to be. He's about fighting, like the Saiyan warrior mentality, right? So he gets his own thing in the manga. It's
Right, and then Gohan's is called Beast Gohan, Super Awakening Beast,
Gohan
Just Beast.
Blanco.
Yeah,
It's the
Gohan
big
Blanco,
meme.
Last Gohan, End Gohan.
So if you've ever heard of Shaggy Blanco, Gohan Blanco, there's a big meme behind that, and it's finally become reality. Gohan Blanco exists, and Shaggy Blanco exists in multiverses. So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, we've crossed realities here, I think. I think the plot was good. I think overall, like everything.
Actually, going off your nostalgia point, the whole concept of Cell Max is just a reference back to, you guys like the Cell arc, right?
Yeah.
And who beats him, right? But instead of beating him with his father's technique, he uses his new father's technique.
Yeah.
The special beef
I didn't
cannon.
think of that. I didn't think of the using the father's technique.
Like even
kind of
that
thing.
is nostalgia. Like
yeah.
that's super unique. But that's almost a love letter to the fans in a way, because it's like, if you really care about Gohan, if you really care about Piccolo and their like relationship, their dichotomy, like this is really cool. Like Gohan's never done that before.
No.
Right.
Piccolo's like, how'd you learn that? And he's like, well, I just been picked it up over the years. Stuff like that's cool. I think it was a good movie overall. Like, just the plot didn't need to go anywhere, because the plot in the manga is like whoosh, everywhere. And honestly, we probably won't even get an anime version of this, because it's set in an uncertain future, right? Sure, Gohan and Goku and Vegeta are still training, but oh god, I have to say this before.
Okay.
I have to say this. In the show, Pan was flying well before,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
and it bugged the living crap out of me. But it's a movie.
That was her mini arc to learn to fly.
Yeah.
It's like, you already knew how to fly. What are you talking about?
So the question comes into, where does this even take place?
Yeah,
in
so
the proper
like
timeline.
most of the time, and that's the thing. Like with the previous few movies, I don't think they're gonna adapt the Broly movie either. So I just don't think so, because that's not where the manga has went. They could, but who knows? Like, do they want to add more episodes? I don't know. But so far, it seems like they're kind of going back to more of the non-canon movies, movieverse, because most of the movies, all of those movies, pretty much all of them, were non manga or anime canon. So
Right.
it feels like they're kind of just making some movies to just make them keep the interest for Dragon Ball going while the manga keeps going. And the
Well,
thing
they don't want
is,
it to fall off. I mean, this is
Yeah.
what's it called? This is Toei. This is like their bread and butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for my opinion on the situation, I really enjoyed seeing Gohan bust out the new form and everything like that. I do hope we do get something like that in the actual show, but I'm fine with it being here.
Probably won't. I don't think so.
Because same thing with Orange Piccolo. That's cool. I don't see us getting a scene where they're going to do another Tournament of Power and now we got to pull in Orange Piccolo.
Right.
Because even with Orange Piccolo, they were undetermined on what actually he transformed into and what he could do. With like when he got super big, he made a point of stating like, "This isn't making me any stronger."
He basically
it's all a
becomes
bluff.
Lord Slug. Like that's basic. His skin turns the same color and everything. So he grows just like Lord Slug does,
Yeah.
and I think that was literally just a throwback to it. I think that's all it was, but it was cool.
Okay. Yeah, no, I liked seeing Piccolo finally get some spotlight, though.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing I was trying to explain to Natalie when we were getting out of the movie, and she was like, well, why were Goku and Vegeta the ones that she knows not a part of it? And I was like, well, because the way it actually worked is, the problem is they were the story started where they were going to try to make Gohan important, but the fans just never accepted that, so they just leaned into Goku and Vegeta. But the problem with Dragon Ball is, because they're always amping up to fight the next big thing, the next thing has to be bigger, so they amp up even farther, which is cool for those two characters. But at some point, Gohan, Piccolo, Goten, all those characters got just left behind because they weren't able to keep up power level wise. So you would never bring them in for, to fight Jiren. You're not going to see Gohan fighting Jiren at the levels of the Tournament of Power. So I had to explain to her, like, this movie was about the characters that got left behind, and maybe this is bringing up Piccolo and Gohan to the level where we can involve them. But as you said, Kevin, it only matters if they bring it into the main continuity. Because the movie, for those who don't know, movie continuity is separate from show continuity, which is separate from manga continuity. They have 3 separate ones. So the movies are keeping in line with Broly, but are they going to bring in Broly and Gohan and Piccolo's new transformations, or are they going to leave it to the movie world?
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's questionable because Resurrection of F, like, some of those were canon. Like, they made the show, but I feel like they're choosing to pick and choose, like, which ones they make into the show.
Well, I think with the movies, they could easily make something where they're like, Gold Piccolo, Beast Mode Gohan. If you don't like it, we just won't put it in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and we'll just call it that way,
Yeah, I think it's just to keep interest going. And also the One Piece movie came out, so they're trying to really keep people interested.
And Dragon Ball, yeah.
Yeah.
So am I the only one? I want to say this. Am I the only one that's actually very glad we did not see any Super Saiyan Man? Because when I heard the name of the movie, I was like, and then we see the superhero androids. I'm like, is he gonna put on the suit and try and like, hey, I'm a superhero too? Yeah, like, I was really glad that was left out. Like,
I legit thought that's what the whole movie was about. I purposely avoided anything on this, just like when we went to go see the My Hero movie. I like to just kind of go into these and enjoy them. The only thing that had spoiled for me early was that Gohan was going to hit his version of Ultra Instinct, and that's because another guy on our team, Houston, and I got in an argument about it. He was like, Gohan has Ultra Instinct. I'm like, look, Gohan doesn't have Ultra Instinct. And he's like, no, I think it's in the new movie. And I'm like, nope, it's called Beast Mode.
Yeah, it's something completely different. It's Gohan Blanco.
So I enjoyed going in and not being aware of what was going to happen. But I was, because they named it superhero and I knew it did primarily focus on Gohan, I was like, oh no, we're gonna get Super Saiyan Man. That's what we're gonna get.
I was so nervous. I desperately did not want that to happen, so I'm so glad it did not.
So what about the new characters being included? Because I had to explain that to Natalie too, that all of Goku's friends are former enemies.
I thought it was funny with Beerus having a crush on the green girl.
Well, because she told him he was like the greatest. And like that, once he heard that, he's like, "You're the best." I forget exactly what it was. Like, "You're the greatest destroyer of all," and it's like that's all it took, right?
Oh, I thought it was like her appearance because of the fact that right after Whis is like, "I'm surprised you guys didn't notice that he's got a type."
It's a little mix, right? It's like,
because she looks kind of like Bulma. He loves Bulma.
Does the whole weird cute thing, and then it's like, but you're and compliments him, and is great. His only thing that he cares about. It's like, right. I could see it.
We talked about it briefly, referee, on one of our chat members here, but no. Apparently, Ultra Instinct Goku is the only technical by title Ultra Instinct, even though they all look the same.
Well, unless you're reading the manga.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, that's how they divided them. Like, Gohan's is called End Gohan, Last Gohan, or Beast Gohan, however you want to call it.
It seems very much like each of them kind of, their ultimate form is just an amplified version of what we know them to be. Like, Goku's reflexes, or Gohan just having that raw power in him, because like they don't show any, at least I didn't notice them showing anything that implied that Gohan's thing was really anything like Ultra Instinct because he doesn't really react to anything. He's just
No, he eats it to the face. Just like, boom, is that all you got?
exactly like he doesn't like dodge or anything like that. Nothing that I would think when I think Ultra Instinct. They're just like, he goes beast mode. He's just like, hey, I am insane.
So overall, let's go ahead and wrap this down here. Closing thoughts. Anybody have closing thoughts they want to bring up on Dragon Ball Super? Superhero? Dragon Ball Super superhero?
Are they going to keep the android as like a actual character?
He is
Number
not.
two?
He's not in the manga.
Number 1.
One. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, 2 died.
Number
2
2
died.
sacrifice. Or yeah.
Yeah.
It would be cool if they made them characters. Like if what I think they would do is if they don't make him like a character because he's not in the manga, obviously. Maybe later on they'll throw him in. Like we'll see him at the Capsule Corp with Bulma or something coming up with something later. But as far as it stands now, I don't think I've seen him in any of the manga.
Okay.
So,
Overall, I enjoyed it though, and while my complaint was they leaned very heavily into you knowing Dragon Ball. They did do a good job of explaining the key points. Like I think my biggest complaint was we spent almost 5 to 10 minutes explaining who the Red Ribbon Army was, and I was like, at this point, it doesn't even matter who the Red Ribbon Army is. Just establish them as the bad guys, and we move forward.
yeah.
Because they even explained like Goku met him when he was a child, and so then we went.
All I needed to be reminded of was, oh right, they made the original androids.
Yeah,
That's all I needed. And Cell. That's it.
When
That's all I
they
need.
redid those parts of Dragon Ball at the beginning, they redrew those action scenes. They were so good. I have a love for Dragon Ball. It's a little boring because it's a little slow, but the good parts are good. And it's
I
a
love the
little campy,
original,
so it's kind of funny sometimes.
I really enjoyed the original Dragon Ball, and I still find it funny people that aren't aware that all of these are linked. Z to Super
Right.
to GT.
It's old. It's old.
Yeah, old stuff.
The series didn't come back for 18 years. It's a long time. It didn't age well.
But all right, that's today's anime podcast was just going to be a review of the movie, but we'll be back next week with our current status, where we are with like My Hero or One Piece and things like that. I am trying to get fully caught up on My Hero. This is huge. It's a huge thing I'm doing, and then I'm going to read all of One
It's a huge endeavor.
Yes, it's a huge endeavor. All Might. I got no way else to work him in there. Anyway. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed today. Let us know what you want us to read or watch or be a part of in the world of anime and manga. And please consider liking and subscribing right here at Absolutely Marvel and DC. And don't forget to chat up for the YouTube memberships if you want to support us even further. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time right here.